What's up, guys? We're back with another NFL tier list. And I've done a few of these in the past. I've done quite a few now, and they're starting to do pretty well. So, you know what? We're going to do NFL head coaches because head coaching, specifically any form of coaching, really is a very intricate part to me. I like it more than most. So, we're just going to do the normal format. We're going to do S to D tier with the new head coaches. I'm going to put down here an unproven because if they haven't had a snap of head coaching experience. There's one exception to this rule that I'm going to make, but let's just get right into it. And starting off, we have Andy Reid. We're going to just start big. He was first on the tier list, so I'm not going to rearrange it. We're just going to immediately put him in S tier. He's a top 3 head coach all time. That's all I have to say. If you look at this guy's resume, you look what he's done with everything he's had. It's crazy. I mean, not just Mahomes. We're talking Alex Smith, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, Matt Castle, I believe. I think. I don't remember. But yeah, no. Amazing. He speaks for himself. Antonio Pierce, right now, I'm just going to put him in the B tier. He's took a Raiders team that was awful and made them pretty good. And he's only had half a year to really prove anything, so we're just going to see how he goes into the next year. Next we have, I believe this is Brian Callahan. We're just going to, again, we got to put him in unproven. Although I believe Brian Callahan was the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals, if I remember correctly. I haven't really done any prior research, just going off of my own information. You look at that Cincinnati offense, it looks like he's really done something good. So I'm excited to see him. Next we have Brian Daboll. I'm going to put him in A tier, and I'm not biased, but Brian Daboll has done so much with so little, including winning a playoff game against the 13-4 2022 Vikings. So I think that achievement on its own speaks for itself. But if you want to go even further, we can talk about the state of the Giants in 2023 and how he managed to even scrape out any wins with that god-awful start that they had to the season. It is crazy to me that he made Tommy DeVito a star. He made Tyrod Taylor look good, although Daniel Jones still didn't look very good, but he did good the year before. So we're going to give him one more chance this year, and we're just going to see. As for Brian Daboll, I don't think he's going anywhere. He's our guy. He's our guy at head coach, and I will firmly believe that. He's done so much. Next, we have Dan Campbell. Again, I'm going to put him in the A tier. He's had one absolutely amazing year, but outside of that, he hasn't really proven a whole... let me rephrase that. He has certainly proven himself, but we need to see another amazing year like that out of him, potentially a Super Bowl win or a Super Bowl appearance at the least, so I could put him in S tier, because I do think he's going to become an S tier coach. Next up we have Dan Quinn, the new hire. We're gonna put him in unproven, but I'm not exactly thrilled about the hire. I'm not a Commanders fan by any means, but I've never really been a Dan Quinn fan. He managed a great defense, but I don't believe that he has the capacity to run an entire team. So we're just gonna have to see how that goes. DeMeco Ryans. This is interesting. I almost want to put him up here, but I'm going to put him in A tier because I think that anyone who listens to their players as much as he does and takes as much information in as possible, I think is someone who deserves to be high up in a tier list like this. And next, oh my gosh, I always forget who this is. This is, I think this is one of the new hires. Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. I completely forgot who this was. We're actually going to make another tier that forgot. And we're just going to put him down there because I forgot. Who is that? I don't know. I have no idea. I can easily make a cut and just look, but I think it'd be funny if I just left him down here, because if I can't even remember who this is, then I probably can't rank him accurately. Dennis Allen, I can rank accurately, however. D tier, awful, terrible. He needs to be fired, and the fact that he hasn't been fired already is crazy. Doug Peterson, gotta put him in B tier. Legacy coach for sure, but I mean, he's been a little underwhelming. I'm not gonna lie. 2 9-8 seasons and just hasn't done anything. So I don't have many words for him. Gerard Mayo, unproven. Jim Harbaugh is the one exception to the rule I was talking about earlier. I'm going to put him in the C tier, but not because he's bad at all, but simply because he hasn't coached in the NFL for, I believe, I want to say 8 years or 9 years, something along those lines. 7 to 9 years. He hasn't coached an NFL game, but he has an incredible pedigree. He's coming off of a national championship win in college football, so we're gonna have to just see how that plays out. His brother, on the other hand, gets an S tier, like just absolutely amazing legacy head coach. He's top 20 all time. I could say that. I don't think that's an absurd take. He manages his team very well, and it seems like the team really likes him. It seems like he's always well liked, no matter who has on his team, because he's been the head coach for the Ravens for a very long time. Next, we have Jonathan Gannon, and we're gonna actually put him in the B tier. Obviously, he only scraped out about, I believe, 4 wins with the Cardinals last year, but I think just with what he had and he didn't really even have a quarterback for most of that year, so I can't take anything from him really. Next, I believe, and I almost want to put him in forgot, but I think this is Kevin O'Connell, so correct me if I'm wrong. Kevin O'Connell, I'm gonna put him in the B tier. He's with Dougie P. I think, he had one good year in 2022 where he proceeded to lose in a wild card game, and outside of that, he hasn't done too much that I can really recall, so I can't put him any higher than I already have. Next, we have Kevin Stefanski, and he's an easy A tier, not even close. Like he's the reigning coach of the year, even though I don't necessarily agree with the decision. What he's managed to do with that Browns team, despite everything they've been through, is absolutely magnificent. And I absolutely love it. It's crazy how much he can do with that team, and how much it seems like he is responsible for their first playoff win in 20 years, in like 2020, I believe, or 2021, or something along the lines. Next up, we have Kyle Shanahan. Please tell me that actually is Kyle. Yeah, that's Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan, we're actually going to put in S tier. I think I don't think he's as good as these two, but I mean, he's been to multiple Super Bowls. He's been to God knows how many NFC championships. The guy can clearly assess talent. We've been able to see that. I think he's really good, but I don't like him as much as these two guys, despite maybe he has a little bit more of an accolade than John Harbaugh, but I do think John Harbaugh is a better coach. Next, we have Matt Eberflus. I'm going to put him in C tier. I don't think he's bad, but he hasn't done anything, and he still is hired as a head coach, so I can't take that from him, but he also hasn't really accomplished much in the span of his reign as the Bears head coach, so I'm not going to make too much of an assessment. Zach Taylor, I'm going to put in B tier. I don't actually think he's that great of a coach, but the thing is that he made it to a Super Bowl, and just for that fact, I think that's already good enough for me. The fact that he made a Super Bowl and then proceeded to make an AFC Championship game the year after, there's no person who can tell me he's bad, but he's not great. He's average. I think he was elevated a little bit by his players, despite the great play calling. Next, we have Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur, we're gonna put in. I don't want to put him in A tier, but I'm gonna put him around here with Dougie P and Antonio Pierce. I think people doubted him. I certainly doubted him for the first 2 or so years that he was a head coach, but this past year, what he did with Jordan Love and how he was able to, win a playoff game away from home, that's absolute. I think that's enough for me, personally. I'm not going to call him a GOAT by any means, but I will say he is pretty good. And I think next year, if he plays around the level he did this year, he's not really playing, but you know what I mean. If he coaches the way he's been coaching, I'm actually going to throw him in A tier, but not quite yet. Next, we have, I believe this is Mike McDonald. I don't know how to say his name. I think he's new to the Seahawks, so I can't really put him any higher. Mike McDaniel, on the other hand, I'm going to put in. I want to put him in A. He's not up here. I'm not gonna say that. He's definitely in B tier, and I think I'm putting a few too many in B tier. But at the same time, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that he hasn't really won I don't believe he's won a playoff game with the Dolphins. He really hasn't done a whole lot. He makes a great offense, but he can't seem to make good play calling decisions that don't result in serious injuries. Not that that's necessarily his fault. I wouldn't really even say that's his fault, but clearly he isn't. It almost feels like his coaching style is like flashy and it's supposed to be cool, but it's not very practical. It almost feels like with him. But I'm not a head coach, so take everything with a grain of salt. Next up, we have Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy, I'm actually going to throw in. I want to say I'm gonna throw him in B tier, but I'm gonna make some adjustments to B tier after that we're done with the main list. I'm gonna make some adjustments, but he is the definition of a B tier head coach, and I'm not even gonna really justify why. Next, we have Mike Tomlin. I think just based off of legacy and what he's able to maintain, I would just say an A tier. Even though he's really realistically, I don't think he's ever gonna win another Super Bowl or even make it to another Super Bowl. I just think that the above 500 thing, the consistency thing, it's just too much to say that he's bad. He's absolutely great. Nick Sirianni, it's, you know, with Nick it's tough. I absolutely hate Nick Sirianni. I despise him, but he's also accomplished a lot. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna put him in C tier because I'm a little biased, but at the same time, I think we need to realize that he just melted down, and I believe when people attribute the Eagles' downfall to the coaching decisions that were made, like the coordinator choices, I believe a little bit of that responsibility falls on Nick Sirianni, and just for that, I'm going to just put him in C tier, along with some other guys. Next, we have Raheem Morris. Again, he's unproven. He's just a new guy. Robert Saleh, I'm actually going to put in C tier. I might actually put him down here, but I'm going to put him in C tier. Manages a great defense. Can't take that from him, but the guy had way too much faith in Zach Wilson, and that's unforgivable. Anyone who has faith in Zach Wilson is unforgivable. Next up, we have Sean McDermott, and we're gonna put him in. I'm gonna put him in B tier. I think he isn't really that. I don't think he's gonna get over the hump anytime soon, and I believe they might need a head coaching change. But he's definitely not bad. I mean, look. I mean, he is still great, and clearly, the Bills' struggles weren't entirely his fault, as we saw with the offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey / what was his name? The other guy's situation. It wasn't all on him, but I still don't think he's that good. He's okay though. I will say he's okay. He's good, but I don't think he's like Mike McDaniel. I don't think he's ever gonna get over the hump, but that doesn't mean he's bad. Sean McVay, on the other hand, is gonna be an S tier. An absolute genius, a mastermind, and a proven winner. Clearly is extremely likable, and the players love him, the fans love him, everybody loves the guy. He wins. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been to 2 Super Bowls and won one of them, and just everything he's done, I can't take that from him. That's the definition of an S tier coach. And Sean Payton, on the other hand, I'm actually gonna put in C tier for kind of the same reason I put Jim Harbaugh in C tier, but the difference is he's coached this last year in the NFL, and I think he dropped a freaking bombshell by benching Russell Wilson. When you make such a stupid decision like that, I don't think it's forgivable. Next up, we have Shane Steichen. I'm actually going to put him in A tier, again, for, I would honestly say for the same reason as Brian Daboll. He did so much with so little, to me, in my opinion, for a rebuilding team, a team that wasn't supposed to even be good at all this year. He really made them good, and I love that. He made Gardner Minshew look good. Like, that's crazy. And Todd Bowles, I'm going to put in C tier. I don't think he's as bad as Dennis Allen, but at the same time, he needs to go. I don't like him. I don't like the way he calls plays. I don't like his attitude and just I don't know. It's even hard. It's hard to explain because he's won the division, but he's also, it's not like he's a 3-time division back-to-back winner, but at the same time, it's been like a 9-8 seasons and 8-9 seasons. It's ridiculous. It's like he's not that good. You know what I mean? Anyways, I'm gonna make a few changes to this list, so I'll catch you guys in just a second. All right, I didn't make as many changes as I thought I was going to, but these are the main changes. I moved Kevin Stefanski to S tier. He could easily go back to A tier, but I want to just put him in S tier for fun. And I also moved Jonathan Gannon down to C tier because, again, I have to kind of be a little more strict than I think I am. And I still don't remember who this is. I'm literally blanking right now. It's actually crazy. Unless this is Dave Canales, in which case he's unproven. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to do another one like this probably quite soon. I'm going to start making more videos more often just because I slacked for like 2 days. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you later.